Okay, we should be live. Welcome everyone. I can always see the viewer counts going up, which is nice. Welcome everyone. This is Jukes Lounge. I have a very exciting stream today with none other than the man, the legend himself. Listen, this guy, he is such a mythical figure that he's just that guy, and that guy is the dude. So we have the dude, my good friend here. I'm gonna add him up, and today we're gonna be breaking down Element 280. It should be a good stream, educational for people who may be new to the ecosystem or just for people who want a good refresh. So without further ado, the dude, how you doing, man? Oh, I think you're muted, brother. I think you're muted. Hold on, let me see. Yeah,
Noob mistake right there.
it happens. I thought I was the one with the new mistakes.
The legend makes mistakes here and there.
It happens, man. It happens to all of us.
But yeah, your intro, I love that. It makes me laugh because my Telegram handle is dude is guy.
Mm. You know
So
what's so funny? This might be like a little off topic, but on my first day of school, when I went to secondary school in the UK, when you're about 11, 12 years old, when I went to secondary school, the first day I walked through the gates, there was these two guys, and I don't know why, they just looked at me and they said, "That is the guy." They're like, "That's the guy," and they just made it a thing. They'll just call me the guy, and now I'm like, "Well, now we got the dude." So we got the dude here. You know what I mean? So it kind of just when I see your name, it just reminds me of that time for some reason in school where people would call me the guy. It just is what it is. But
it's
that's good
fun.
to see.
It's fun. I
Yeah,
enjoy it. Yeah.
yeah, man. So cool. Let's get into it. So it's gonna be
Yeah.
educational. I like to always start my streams. Um, basically, me and the dude need to get to know each other a bit. So I like to ask just a basic question. What got you into crypto and Titan X, and how did you get here? Just a brief, very brief kind of introduction. Just more for myself, and for you as well, if you want to ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a friend that I got into crypto, and I learned about crypto in 2017, when Bitcoin hit 20K, and my friend was like, "Oh my God, I'm rich. Like, this is the best thing ever." And I was like, "What the hell is Bitcoin?" And like I looked at the chart and I was like, "Okay, that's cool. I guess I missed out on that." And then 2018 hit and it crashed all the way down to 6K. And I was like, maybe I should look into this.
Hmm. Yeah.
And started buying Bitcoin at 6K. And then it was in a single day, it crashed 50% from 6K to 3K. And then that was like my initiation into crypto. Welcome to crypto. Like, where you lose half your portfolio overnight. I was out
Honestly.
camping and like came back and was like, oh my God, like what happened? And like, luckily I wasn't like too deep in it. You always don't invest more than you're willing to lose, risk, all those things. But that was an eye opener for me. And like, this is very different. And then Ethereum is really what entrenched me into like blockchain technology is amazing. Like, Bitcoin is like cool. It's this new currency and it's decentralized. But Ethereum having smart contracts, like when I learned about smart contracts, that's what got me hooked into crypto.
Hmm. Hmm.
So now you're adding decentralization of not just a token, but like programming and software,
Hmm.
and like
That's powerful.
programmable money. Like, it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Obviously we understand that in Titan X. This is all DeFi, what we're doing,
Hmm.
and it's no looking back. Like, this is the
That's great.
future. For
Yeah.
me, I think it's the future for the entire world, but for me specifically, it's no doubt the future.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, man. I remember I got into crypto at the top of the last cycle. So like it went from
Yeah.
everyone euphoric, like get in, get in, get in. You're gonna make 1 million in like 2 days, to
Yeah.
no, minus 70% in the next week. And you're just
Yeah, I
sitting
feel
there like,
like
oh man.
everyone's got to have that welcome to crypto minus, that plunge, like if you can't handle those, then you shouldn't be in crypto.
That's the thing. Yeah. I feel like that's like one of the things with onboarding people as well. I'm always concerned, like, can this person really handle it? Like, I don't know if they can,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
What do you know what year Bitcoin hit 1,000? Do you know roughly?
I don't like I said, I didn't even know what Bitcoin was till 2017.
Right.
So the previous bull cycle would have been 2013. So maybe it was around that time, 2013.
Maybe. I don't know why I have this really early memory. Like I feel like the first time I heard about Bitcoin was when it hit 1,000. And I remember being literally like a teenager, like a young teenager at the time, like probably I was probably like 14 or 13. And I just remember thinking like, oh my god, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. And I remember Ethereum being a thing back then. But I was just too young and I had no money. So I couldn't take advantage. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's fun, like going back to the chart and like just look at like the beginning to like 2015, and you see like these roller coasters, of ups and downs. But then you extend the chart over to like 2018, and all that ups and downs crazy roller coaster just flatlines because the next pump is so massive that it just like you don't even see the previous pumps,
That's crazy,
and
isn't it?
then the next one it flatlines it. Like you look at the whole chart of Bitcoin over, what has it been, 14 years or something now? Like it's basically like a flat line for the first 10 years is what it looks
Mhm,
like, and then it's
mhm.
got this big run up to 100K. But if you like zoom in back there, you see all these crazy ups and downs. Like
And that's the
that's like
thing.
the saying goes, like if you're scared, just zoom out. Like that's when you start getting emotional, like just zoom out, like look where we're at and look where we could be going. Like all these crazy ups and downs from 60K to 30K to 100K or whatever. Like I believe that's going to look like a flat line. When you come back 10, in 10 years in the future, all of this will be a flat line when we're at a million, $10 million. Like
Mhm,
you won't
mhm.
even see those. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
what will it all look like when the crypto like global market cap hits like 10 trillion and more than
Mhm.
that, you know? Everything now is gonna look like a flat line. That's how like that's a good way that I try to handle my emotions when I'm like in the markets is if a coin is dipping now, you just got literally just zoom out, like just go back to like earlier, zoom out, and you'll see this is gonna just be a little blip. It's gonna look this pop and then
Yep.
boom.
Yep.
So that's a good way of handling it. And that's why I feel like in crypto you have to have that long-term mindset in the game.
Oh yeah.
You have to have that long-term mindset because if you're like trying to just day trade on crypto, like you can get wrecked pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's another complaint. I feel like I'm way sidetracking this, but like that's another thing that I hate about like the whole meme coin market is you have thousands upon thousands of meme coins that all go to shit. But you have one out of those thousands that does 100x. And that's what makes the news. That's what everybody sees. And that's what they're like, everyone expects. Oh, I need to get in on the next greatest meme coin because it's going to 100x. And it's like,
Mhm, mhm,
yeah, but that's one in 1,000 that'll actually do that. So like your odds of hitting that are just crazy low. And
uh-huh.
everyone just expects that's the type of returns you should be getting. They want to buy in a token and then be like, all right, let's 100x this. And it's like, that's not how the standard is, but that's what the media portrays. That's what the people, the degens think is like, oh, there's 100x's everywhere. It's like, there's also minus 99. There's way more minus 99% than 100x,
Yeah.
way more. So
And the thing is with social media in general is people only post their wins, right? So you're only
exactly.
going to see people posting like the 100x meme coin, trash coin that just done 100x, and then no
Yeah.
one's going to post about all of their L's. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the trap though with people getting into the start. I think they just get kind of pulled into that kind of mindset of just buy that next coin that's going to 100x. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a development. It's a development. I think. Like I feel like I was like that when I first came in. You thought it was going to be easy, but you got to
Yeah.
develop your mindset in the game.
Yeah.
Um, cool. So yeah, let's just get more into it. So Element 280. This stream will be mostly about Element 280. We may touch upon E369 and may touch upon stacks. I know that that's white paper's not out yet, and that's coming very soon, I believe. But who knows? We might touch upon that a little bit. Let's just get into this guy. So basically, what I've done is, um, you know, another Mike Dean styled diagram here. So hopefully it's easy to understand, and I'll just share my screen so we can see it. So give me a second.
I
Cool.
personally like the diagrams, like
Yeah, it helps me
over
visualize.
reading paragraphs in a white paper. Like I definitely like the visuals.
Yeah,
So
it helps. I feel like it helps people who are new to it just literally just see what's going on. It just makes things a lot easier. So I'm gonna have to zoom in a bit just so we can see everything clearly as I'm going through it. But yeah, so this is the Element 280 ecosystem. Well, part one, just Element 280 with Jukes the Great and none other than dude. So yeah, let's get into it. So if we come over here, so this might seem a bit, how do I say it? Out of date because we're not minting anymore. Mint phase has ended, but just so people understand how it all kind of came to be and how it all works, we obviously start with Titan X, and this is kind of how the minting here looks at a basic level. So you got NFTs you can mint and element token. Obviously, like I said, guys, mint phase has ended. Actually, it was a 28-day mint phase, and I believe it was 48 hours for token claim.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
48 hours. Cool. So just to run through this bit quite quickly, you basically can mint either NFTs or tokens, and basically the tokens were minted at a 1-to-1 rate, and NFTs worked like this. So you had two types of NFTs you could mint. You got the amped NFT and the just regular NFT. And these were divided into the following categories. So looking at the amped, you have legendary, rare, and common. So you got amped legendary, amped rare, and amped common. And these were backed by a certain amount of tokens. So the cost to mint is broken down here. Would you like to run through this maybe?
I would say start with the non-amped versions
Yeah,
first, and then we can
that's fine.
build on top of that concept.
Sure. So these are the non-amps.
Yeah, and so this it's all the same cost basis, like as far as one for one goes. So like the common was 100 million Titan X cost, and your backing was one for one. So you're getting 100 million element tokens backing that NFT.
Yeah, that's
So
the common here. Yeah.
yeah, and then the rares and legendaries were just like there was no bonus. I would say it's all the same cost to reward ratios. It's really just if you've got 10 billion Titan X, you don't want to have to manage 100 NFTs. You can mint just a single legendary and not have to do that, or you could mint 10 rares instead of 100 commons. And so it was just to keep it flexible. It was really just for the user's benefit. But all three of them have the same percent ratio, like your cost to reward basis is all the
Sure.
same.
Sure.
And that's at a 1-to-1 ratio. So that legendary was 10 billion Titan X. It's backed by 10 billion element tokens.
Great.
And so then now when you go to the amped versions, it's the same backing. So you have.
Oh, I meant that's actually wrong, isn't it? Mint cost is 1.1 Titan. Yeah, let me just. Oh no, yeah, the mint cost, but then the burn cost. Sorry, I'm getting confused on my own thing.
Yeah. So it's the same mint cost, but then there's an additional 10% on top of that. So with the common, it was 100 million mint cost, but then you burn an additional 10 million, and it's actually locking up. We use burn, stake, lock in Titan X all as universal. What you call it? Just a term. So in this case, we were locking it up by sending it to the HLX treasury, which it locks up. It stakes max stakes forever. Yeah, so you're paying an extra 10% cost, but your backing does not increase by 10%. So where your benefit comes in is on the reward side of things. You get a 20% bonus in rewards.
So I
So
believe it
you're
looks like
paying 10% more, but 20% more in rewards, but the backing stays the same.
Yeah. So there's this rewards pool. So with Element 280, you have a rewards pool. So really the main reason you'll mint NFTs was so you basically get a share of the rewards pool, and your share of the rewards pool determined by the multiplier you have on the NFT. I believe that's right. So you kind of start off with these the common, well, the normal ones are these multipliers here. So a common is 1x, and then 10x on the rare, and then 100x on the legendary. Is that right?
Yeah, and that's how you get like 100 commons at 1x gives you 100x,
Mm-hmm.
and then 10 rares at 10x that gets you your 100x. So
Mm-hmm.
100 commons, 10 rares, one legendary is all the exact same reward multiplier. And so that's where it's just for user convenience, however you want to split that up works.
I think a random alarm is going off in my room. Let me quickly just take that off, guys. Give me 1 second. I don't know where that came from.
um, yeah, and then the just to kind of go on with the reward pool, it's your share of the reward pool is determined by your total multiplier points. So if you own a legendary, you've got 100x multiplier points. If the global pool is 1,000 multiplier points, you have 100 divided by 1,000. You would have 10% of the pool. So that's how your payout from the rewards is calculated. Is your sum multiplier points divided by the global total multiplier points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, so the amps give you 20% more, basically, multiplier in the pools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, your backing doesn't increase, but your rewards increase, and so that gives the user more customization on like how long or short term minded are they. If you're thinking you're gonna mint this NFT and get some rewards and then burn it 3 months down the road to collect your backing tokens, it may not make sense to have an amped NFT because you're paying more but not getting the additional backing. So but if you're like, I'm minting this and never selling, then it makes sense to hold an amped version because you're getting more rewards and you don't care about less backing because you're never claiming the backing tokens. They're just forever locked in the NFT.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And the guys, during mint phase, this stuff got absolutely nuts. And people were even like they were making good profit on the NFT and then burning it and then using the profit to then make more NFTs. Did you envision people doing that, or did you just think they'll just make the NFT and leave it?
So with the original design, that was not an option, and that was like a last minute change that I think was amazing. Like, this came from Jake. Like he was like, "Hey, like you need to allow people to compound. Like that's a important feature." And so we made a few minor tweaks, and I feel like it made the protocol like 10 times better. Like it was a
Mhm.
great suggestion that we were happy to implement. And yeah, no looking back. It was great
Mhm.
because that allowed the short term players to make their short term games, but at the same time they're paying taxes that filled these reward pools. Like people were getting crazy rewards during the mint phase because all of these people that were minting and selling and then reminting, like they were cycling through, like that was funneling tons of rewards into NFT holders. Yeah.
That was, yeah. It was making so much awards, and I just think that it also like got so much attention on X, and I feel like it really boosted the amount of Titan X that came into
Mhm.
the protocol. I remember you saying that you would think we would maybe get 15 trillion, and we exceeded that. So, you know,
I mean, before we even launched, my goal was like, man, it would be amazing to break 10 trillion. And like, a week in, it was very clear that like that goal was going to get smashed, and it did. And that's when I realized, okay, like, you know, we did simulations and decided, yeah, this should look like this and blah blah blah, and be like in live action, like to see it working as we simulated, like it was beautiful to see, like it working
Mm,
as intended. As far as the
mhm.
game theory, obviously the smart contracts, I assume, are always going to work as intended. You know, we go through great lengths to make sure there's no bugs or any issues with them.
Yeah,
but but you never know what the actual market's going to do. You know, the market can act rationally, and they can make plays that you would think that doesn't make any sense, but it happens all the time.
yeah. It kind of reminded me of the early Titan X days when people started going crazy compounding miners. Because I feel like that wasn't something anyone talked about during pre-Titan X launch. Like when Jake
Yeah,
was streaming, he was like, do a ladder or go just long term. And then all of a sudden, you had this rush of people after the first kind of 30 days, 40 days that were just going crazy on these like literally like these 1 month compound
yeah,
miners. And that's just like you said, sometimes you just don't know what the market's going to do. And when people find a little strategy and a little way to make more than everyone else, then they start jumping on it, and then quickly everyone starts doing it. So
yeah.
that's the thing with these protocols. Sometimes, like I've seen a lot of people kind of say stuff about new protocols that might be moving a bit slow at the start. But the way I look at it is, you just have to let the people figure out the system. Like
Mm-hmm.
it might be a bit slow at the start, but you got to let people figure it out. Early believers might get a really nice reward. They'll start posting about it. New people come in, or just people who are, paying attention will see, oh, damn, I missed a great opportunity there. I'm going to get in on the next one. And then over time, people start to figure things out. And then it starts to get really, really crazy. I really feel like that's what happened with E280. Like, like you said, you would be happy for 10 trillion, but then when people figured out all the compounding and the rewards were just so insane, it just blew, like it just really started to bloom, like it really started to grow. So we'll get to this a bit more. So the rewards pool, for those wondering how this actually gets any rewards, it looks like this. So I believe it was based on a tax system
Mm-hmm.
with the element token, and there was a mint phase tax system and a post mint phase tax system. So just quickly brushing over the mint phase tax system, um, these percentages were higher. So basically, on a buy and a sell and a transfer, um, the following tax would be applied. So it looks like this. I believe it was a total of a 16% tax, I think. And then you got 12.8% to NFT rewards, 1.2 to Genesis, 1.6% element burn, and Helios Treasury / investment pool gets 0.4%. I believe that's right. What was your reasoning for having the tax higher during mint phase?
Uh, we knew people were gonna be compounding, you know, so we we didn't want short-term players extracting too much value out of the system, and that was our solution to this was, well, let's just crank up the tax, you know, so we, you know, have it set at 4. We're like, let's quadruple it, let's set it to 16%.
Mm,
And the short-term players, it's all a math problem to them, you know, like they're looking at, oh, if I mint at this price and it's at this price, I can sell and make a profit. They don't care about the 16% tax. If they can mint for $100 and then immediately sell for 110, well, let's just say it's $120, and then you pay $16 in tax, you still made $4 profit. It is still 4% ROI. Like, they don't care about paying $16 in tax because they still made $4 in short-term plays. And so
mm,
that's when I was like, yeah, we will allow you to compound and make these short-term plays, but we want to greatly reward NFT holders. And that's why, like, the mass, you know, out of that 16, 12.8 was all to NFT holders. So now it's symbiotic, where you've got these NFT holders that are long-term players. They don't want to see people draining the buy and burn essentially up front, because they want to see it last longer and support them. So doing it this way, now we can run the buy and burn up front and let people compound into it, but the long-term players are getting heavily compensated for that.
Mm,
And I mean, I think we were seeing like close to 10% ROIs each week on that, which was like insane, you know. So if you minted an NFT on day one, by the end of the mint phase, you had close to half of your buy-in already earned in rewards. And then now you have this NFT that's backed one for these tokens. Um, like I would say it was a success as far as how the amount of rewards that was rolling in during mints and all of the just how it all went out. I couldn't have asked for anything different. Like I wouldn't go back and change anything.
mm. I think I agree. I think it went the mint phase just went so well. It was such a good mint phase. And I even think it really opened Jake's eyes. I feel like,
Mhm.
he's really given Element 20 a lot of credit and respect, especially during like Shogun launch and stuff. He's really he's mentioned it quite a lot of times. Like he was looking at Element 280 and what it's done, and he was like, wow, I can build something similar to this system. So, I think that is a testament to how successful Element was, the
Yes,
mint phase was
yes.
insane.
Yeah, I am proud to hear him, talk about it. Like, and I've had people be like, "Can't he's copying your idea?" And I'm like, "No, man. Like, he's got his own twist. He's doing his own thing. I take it as a compliment. Like, what I did was amazing. And if other people see that, like, it's a tip of the hat to E280. Maybe I should look into E280 because hey, Jake just made Shogun that's, um, got similar concepts. Like, he doesn't just build it because he's not just copying stuff. Like he's
Mhm,
doing his own thing, and
mhm.
to me, it's just a testament of how well E280 performed, like you're
Yeah,
saying.
and I think one thing that's underrated is how all these systems will fit in together, you know, because there is a Shogun Element LP. So if
Mm-hmm.
Shogun starts to pull up, well, that pulls up Element. That's a really cool thing that I like. And it's the same with Alien X, right? Like you have all these different systems that are now integrating with each other. They have LPs with each other. And that's really cool to see. So, all these systems will benefit each other, you know.
No
Cool.
doubt.
Let's get
Yeah.
to the current tax. So this is how the current tax looks like. I believe it's a total of 4%
Mm-hmm.
on buy sell transfer. And it gets split the following ways here. So you got 2.4% to the NFT rewards, 0.6% to Genesis, 0.8% element burn. So literally, guys, all these ARB bots that will come in here, and I'll show you an example of an ARB bot. They're burning element just by trading, and they make their money, so they're happy, and then they're burning element as well. I really like this. And then you got Helios Treasury slash investment pool, which is something I would like to talk about a bit as well, because I think the Helios guys definitely want to hear about that. And if you look at that
Yeah.
Helios investment pool, it's looking nice. It's looking really nice.
Very, very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So what was your like, one question I've always had was when you're designing the system, how come you chose to split the tax basically like this? Um, and yeah, what was the thought process behind like, burning element or Genesis or NFT rewards or Helios Treasury investment pool? Like, what was the thought process?
It basically at a base level, we want NFT rewards the primary beneficiary. So like no doubt that needs to be the majority of the tax going to NFT holders. And then after that, it's, well, what's the next important thing? Burning element tokens. So like we kind of just ordered like this is the importance of where we want it to be as far as what these attributes are, and then just kind of played with the numbers and
Mm, mhm.
until we got something that we felt like it looked good. But yeah,
Yeah.
like primary NFT, like the entire design process was like, how do we make the NFT holders the happiest out of everybody in this whole ecosystem? Like
Hmm,
that's
hmm,
the primary mode of participation is through NFTs.
hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. And what was I gonna say? My mind. I think I was gonna say. Okay, you know what? My mind has gone blank on me. Okay, so we'll probably circle back to this stuff throughout
Sure.
throughout the stream because I think this stuff is really important. That was it. That was it. It's come back. So obviously with this token, it has similarities to PTGC and UFO and what they're doing over on Pulse Chain. And I think, you know, one of the things when you look at those tokens, like what they try to do is get people to lock their tokens up in some way and then use the tax as a way to benefit those people who do lock up the tokens. So I think this is really important detail that I feel people need to focus on is with Element, the way they've done this is really with this NFT rewards because you know at the end of the day if you hold NFTs you're making yield for just holding NFT and you know that keeps people locking up their tokens, right? So it keeps tokens off the you know off the market. And when you look at the NFT backing, like the crazy thing with Element is it just has such a small supply that's liquid. And the reason it has such a small supply is because I think it might be 30 to between 30 and 40% of all the tokens are locked up in this NFT reward. And I think
Yeah,
that's a really that's like it's such a how do I say it, like a effective way of getting supply just fully locked, you know. And some people would diamond hand these NFTs like for a very long time. So yes, people can burn the NFT to claim back the backing, and we're seeing some of that now. But at the end of the day, you know, we have burning mechanisms in place here. So, you know, even though more tokens may come onto market, like those will be slowly burnt away with just literally just trading volume. And then the people who do diamond hand these NFTs are just going to be rewarded. So that's why it's like
in
that.
in two
Yeah.
different ways, because you're earning tokens from the NFT rewards, but also your backing is becoming more and more valuable as the token becomes more and more scarce. Your backing is worth more and more of the total supply. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like a store of value. Um, as like the supply deflates, your share of the total supply is going up. But while you're doing that, while you're holding this as a store of value, you're getting additional tokens sent to you each week on top of that. So it's
Mm,
like that's the way I feel like is the best way to describe it is a store of value with interest, you know, with a bonus on it.
yeah.
Because I think just holding the tokens themselves is a great, you know, play in my opinion. Like if you know these tokens are burning, and there's another point that a lot of people were like, well, what happens when the buy and burn stops? And it's like this doesn't need a buy and burn. Like every transaction is burning tokens.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even with no, the buy and burn is just the cherry on top. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like it's just added effect. And
Mm-hmm.
what sets this, what's going to keep this going is the liquidity web, and I think we'll talk about that as well
Definitely
soon.
get into that. Yeah. Definitely get into that.
But it's trading volume. That's
Yeah.
the secret sauce.
And don't forget for the listeners, like these NFTs, they can also be traded on OpenSea and Titan Legends. So, you know, just imagine. Oh, yeah, one other thing. Just imagine these awards you're getting now. They might not look like a lot. Let's say it doesn't look like a lot now. This is when the system is on a massive dip and these tokens are on a low. Can you imagine? I know it's not financial advice, but you know, when the system does really start to push up, when Titan X starts to push up, these payouts you're getting now in the staking can be worth a lot if you just hold the liquid token that you're getting through the NFT reward. You know, when the systems start to go up, these rewards you're getting now are going to be like quite significant. You know, if you look at how many element tokens you're getting, so definitely a big factor people need to realize that these NFT rewards now, they may not look a lot now, but later on they're going to be very very juicy. So
Mm.
yeah, that's one thing I've not seen too many people touch upon. And one thing here, just like the last thing, I didn't put the minting the post mint phase. This should be post mint phase. I didn't do the mint phase tax on burning NFTs, but this is just what the tax is on burning NFT right now. So if you hold an NFT now and you just do decide to burn it, there's a tax you will pay as well. So it's 3% in total.
Mhm.
And then again, you're going to benefit the NFT reward, the NFT holders. So you're burning, but you're going to benefit the people who are holding NFTs in two ways, right? So the main way you're gonna, well, the direct way you're gonna benefit them is you're just gonna pay out some element to their pool, and they're gonna get that. And the second way is you're giving them more shares of the pool,
Yes.
so they get more
It-
shares of the pool, and they get more rewards.
yeah, that's another huge fact, factoid that I think can't be said enough with this ecosystem is your share of the pool can never be diluted. It's a one-way street. There's no way, now that mint phase is over, there's no way to mint another NFT. So with any other staking pool, you stake your tokens and say you stake it and you get 10% share of the pool. Well, another guy comes in and they stake a bunch of tokens, and now your share of the pool went from 10 to 9%. And then more come in, and now you're at 8, 7. You're constantly fighting other people entering the system.
Mm-hmm.
That can't happen here. The only
Mm-hmm.
thing that people can do is exit the system. So if you've got 10% of the pool, nobody else can come in. Like, you're guaranteed for life that 10%. And then as
Mm-hmm.
other NFTs are burning and they're exiting the system, your share of the pool is going from 10 to 11 to 12. It's going up
Yeah.
until you decide you can't hold anymore and you burn yourself.
I
Yeah.
know it's really cool. It's really cool. And like this is one thing that if people don't want to burn the NFTs because they don't want to pay the taxes, they want to get back more tokens. Well, this incentivizes people to trade it on the OpenSea. So if people want to trade it on OpenSea, then that's up to them. And the longer this plays out, the more NFTs get burnt. And if Element and all these tokens start to push up in price, like let's just say theoretically, Element hits 2-to-1 ratio to Titan. Now you're backing. You originally put in, let's say you put in a 10 billion for a legendary Titan X, and the backing is 10 billion Element. Now that is worth 20 billion Titan X. Okay,
Mhm.
and you know, I think we might be in for a surprise. I think it can get crazy. The prices these NFTs will be listed on OpenSea, because the value you won't be able to get them anymore, so they're scarce. They're deflating. People can only burn them, and therefore, especially with the legendary ones and the rares, because there's just less of them, it's going to create more scarcity. And I'm really curious to see as this plays out what people do put them on, the value they put them on for trading on OpenSea. I'm honestly, I'm always keeping a tab on that. I'll have that little OpenSea tab that I'll refresh every now and then, see what they are.
Yeah,
Um,
last I checked, there were some very outrageously priced NFTs, and they're like, it's just fun to see, and you're like, when is anybody gonna buy that? Like, that would be years down the road. I don't know, but recently I did see several NFTs, that were listed at like a 5% premium. Like the backing plus the rewards, and added 5% of that, and they were getting traded. People were
mhm.
buying those NFTs, so
I
it
believe
was
it
cool
was.
to see.
Yeah, I think it was two legendaries. I think I kept a tab on that as well. It was like 10.5 billion. I think they were selling it for 10.5 billion Titan X.
Yeah, that
And
would
that was
be
it.
5% on the backing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there you go. And those are being traded, and that person made made some profit on that, right?
Mhm.
On that trade. So that is really
Yeah, I
cool to
mean,
see.
they collected rewards for, a month and a half on that NFT and then sold it at a 5% profit. Like, they're probably up around 50, 60% profit total on that NFT. And now
Hmm.
the next guy, he was able to enter the system, but it did not affect anybody else in the pool. Like, we got somebody new that it was able to come in that did not dilute everybody else's rewards. So it's, yeah, I love seeing it.
Yeah, yeah. I love how it can't be diluted. That's like such a cool feature because I feel like with the staking stuff, I feel like a lot of people are a little bit scared of the dilution, especially smaller players. And they're just a bit like, oh, what's the point of doing this? Just kind of whales gonna come in and completely destroy me.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's really cool to see. Yeah, it's really cool to see. Let's get on to this. Actually, I wanted to ask about this Helios Treasury investment pool. Guys, if you go to Etherscan and you check on E280 and the holders, I think this is number 3 or 4. It's something like the third or fourth biggest holder of Element right now is the investment pool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's
now I'm
holding 88.
curious.
Yeah, go and check. I checked it last night. I think it was third or fourth.
Yeah, number 4. Yeah.
Yeah, number 4. That's
So the,
crazy.
the top holder is the contract itself.
Wow.
The It's, all of the element tokens that are available to be claimed to NFT holders. Number 2 is the element Titan X LP. Number 3 is the Dragon X element LP. And then number 4 is the Helios Treasury.
Guys, isn't that insane? Like, if you look at the top 5, it's like all contracts, it's
Yep.
the LPs, it's literally the machines, as we say.
Yes.
Isn't that
Yeah.
insane? Like, it's the machines that own most of the supply already. You
Yeah.
know, that's so cool. I love that. Is
And,
so what? Yeah, go on.
I think I was going to answer partially your question you're about to ask, but like,
Mhm.
we will absolutely no doubt be responsible with what we do with these tokens. Like you can know that we're not going to just dump these tokens for Titan X on the market or something, because Helios is a direct beneficiary of the Element protocol. Like,
Yeah.
it's we want what's best for Element 280 and HLX. So I've got some really good ideas that I'm playing around with on how we can support HLX with this treasury.
Hmm.
But we're still tweaking it and designing like what exactly we want to do with it. But
Yeah.
ultimately, it comes down to a DAO vote by the HLX community. Like, the community themselves will say yes or no. We want to implement this strategy. So
Hmm. Hmm. That's so cool. So yeah, like, look, guys, these tokens are gonna benefit Helios. They're gonna benefit E280. I'm sure they're gonna be set up in basically the best way that the DAO vote on. So, in a sense, if you come back to the tax, you've got 2.4% going to NFT awards, 0.8% is getting burned, and right now 0.2% is basically getting locked away. And that's one thing that people aren't realizing. It's almost like, okay, 8% burn, and then like point I'm sorry, 0.8% burn, and then 0.2% is for the time being locked in this investment pool, and it's going to be used by the DAO to vote on what they believe is the best way to use the tokens to benefit the Helios guys and to benefit the Element guys. So
mhm.
that's a really cool feature. That's one thing I think everyone's focusing on NFT awards and Element burn, of course, because that's the main thing. But then this treasury investment pool is one of those ones that don't undermine this, guys. You look at this already, it's got 88 billion. I mean, $43,000 that when I took the screenshot. I mean, at 10x price, that's like half a mil in there, right? Like, that can get insane. That investment pool, people need to need to have a look at that investment pool, because that investment pool is insane. You go through, you add all the little tokens in there up together, you're like, oh damn. So
Yeah, it
I'm really
was,
excited to
last
see
I
how it goes.
checked, it was like 750K or something like that.
Wow.
Like, and then we have our like roughly $1 million stake in Titan X as well. Like,
Hmm. And those
HLX, I
percentages are
have
growing.
no concerns. It's going to be amazing. I think I'm
Yeah.
getting some bad connection here. Can you hear me okay?
That's okay. I can hear you fine. I think the image is a little bit choppy,
Okay.
but the audio is fine. Yeah, if anyone notices anything about the internet quality, just put it in the chat so I'm aware of that. Um, but yeah, guys, and like these tokens on here, like 700K right now. This is this is on a retracement. Like, the ecosystem is on a retracement right now. What happens? And I know dude is a founder, so he can't, he's more limited on what he can say, and obviously no financial advice. But what happens to this investment pool when everything starts to go up 5x 10x? Like, this is gonna get ridiculous. So very excited about this. Helios guys, I'm keeping tabs on this investment pool. I'm gonna be carrying on just checking it, it's watching it grow. It's like a beast, and it grows with each trade, right? Like, each trade on Element is gonna grow this. So super cool to see. Right, let's get to the main crux of Element, or the main idea of Element. So this is my little LP web that I drew out here. I believe that was with the pairs that I saw at the time. There may be more. I think Eden got added. I saw someone added LP with Eden. So there's going to be more of these. But if I can sum it up, and then Dude can probably correct me. I believe so with Element. One of the cool things with it is kind of the easy button of the Titan X ecosystem. Very similar to PTGC and UFO for those who are in those ecosystems. It's going to be an LP web. Okay, so what these arrows and lines are going to these different boxes are different coins, and Element is going to have an LP, a liquidity pool on Uniswap V2 set up with each of these tokens. And this is where the whole tax system really, like, you might just learn about the tax system and think, okay, so what? Like, what's so cool about that? What's so cool about it is you're going to have Element pairs with all these ecosystem tokens, and when the price of Element across these tokens differs by a certain percentage, and an ARB bot sees that it can make a profit on a trade, well, those ARB bots are going to trade Element. You know, they're going to trade Element Hyper. They might like buy Element through the Hyper pair because it's cheap there, and then sell it in the Helios pair, and they make their profit, and they pay their tax. So thank you. We're the tax man. You know, if you can't be the tax man, join him. You know what I mean? So that's so cool to see. And this is really the main crux of the protocol. This is what everything boils down to. Everything we've covered so far, it really boils down to this absolute machine of an LP web. And because because Element had so much Titan enter into the minting, it means that Titan X, by the way, I didn't mention it, but it goes to a buy and burn, and that buy and burn buys Element tokens in all these LPs, well, the ones that were set up on launch, and it's going to burn the Element and then build the LP. So that LP is going to start getting thicker. The Element is going to get burnt, and therefore there's going to be enough like liquidity in these pairs for bots to come in and trade it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents.
As far as like liquidity goes, like if Titan X, let me start with like, so yeah, similar to PTGC, but this is specific to the Titan X ecosystem only. You know, like PTGC, they expand to like all of Pulse Chain. They spread out on everything. So the difference here is like we're not just throwing any tokens into this LP web. It's only tokens in the Titan X ecosystem. So this is like if Titan X does a 2x, every single token in this ecosystem does a 2x. And Element by proxy would do a 2x as well, automatically. And then with that being said, if everything in this ecosystem does a 2x, the liquidity pools with Element and all these tokens instantly doubles in value. You got the same amount of tokens, but those tokens are now worth twice as much. And so that liquidity pool is now twice as thick. So I have zero concerns with, like, I feel like the LPs are, you know, decently thick as they are, even in this dip. Last I checked, it was around 750,000 in liquidity when you add up every pool. And we're always adding more, like you're saying. We added Eden and Turbo recently. Shogun was added by Jake himself. Like every time there's a new protocol that's coming out, we add that token to this LP web. But that's the only requirement is you have to be in the Titan X ecosystem, because we want to ride that tide with everybody else. You know, as you know, if we call this pool of water Titan X, you know, if Titan X goes up, the tide goes up, every single token in the ecosystem goes up, and we follow that. So, and that's what we wanted to be, is tied to Titan X, and then specifically all of the protocols on top of Titan X. You know, like if a single token like HLX does a 2x, That's not going to raise every LP. That just creates arbitrage opportunities, which is what you're saying. That is the secret sauce here. If HLX does a 2x, well, now that liquidity pool doubled up, but the price of elements going to be out of whack, and they're going to buy on all of these other pools for cheaper and sell on the HLX. And so it might 2x, but then after everything equalizes, it comes back down to like 1.2 x. You know, so it still increases element and everything with it, but just at a more gradual position. And that's every one of these tokens has their own protocols, their own things, their own, you know, price appreciation, depreciation. Like they're doing their own thing, and that's where element wins. Is we want volatility. We want to see these other tokens going up and down as people speculate on it, and when they do that, it just adds more and more trading volume for element, more and more taxes being paid.
More taxes, pay those taxes, HMRC. And the great thing with this is, you know, like dude mentioned, right? Like if Titan X goes up, all these protocols are linked to Titan X, so they go up just literally automatically. No one has to buy them; they go up in price automatically. But they all have their own thing going on. They all have their own game. They've got protocols launching on top of them. They're all doing their own thing, so their tokens might increase ratio with Titan X. So I'll give an example, right? Like, let's say, for example, I saw Phoenix in the chat, so I know they're building on like Flux and Inferno and stuff. Let's say, like, you know, Inferno, let's say Titan X goes up 2x, but then Inferno 2x is its ratio with Titan X. Now, Inferno, the Inferno element LP is going to have a huge price appreciation, basically, for the element token. And then because of that volatility on Inferno, element benefits. So people are going to buy up all the cheaper pairs. They might go to the Alien X pair or the Flux pair or whatever pair. They're going to buy up the cheaper pairs. And this is not people, this is ARB bots. They're just scanning this on the blockchain. They see it. And as soon as it happens, like this, like it's like instant.
They don't even care what these tokens are. Like they come in with ETH and they come out with ETH. And they don't care what any of these tokens in our ecosystem are. They just see price discrepancies and see a very small profit margin.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing. So they don't even care. And like imagine Inferno does a 2x, but then imagine it does a 10x. Like for those I believe you've all been here for a while, everyone who's live watching right now. I'm sure everyone saw Dragon X go from a 1-to-1 ratio to a 25-to-1 or something crazy. That run was so insane, and now with the element being bonded to all these different tokens, we're just getting a share of all of that volatility. If theoretical, Inferno does a 20x on the ratio to Titan, and then Titan goes up 10x, I mean, the amount of but the dollar cost of the tokens in that pool would be so ridiculous. And it's element that's benefiting from all of this. Like element just benefits from literally like everything in the ecosystem going up. Element is benefiting from, and I heard a really good example, so I'll give credit to, I think it was Cryptographics. He said it in one of his streams of Crypto Kindness. Definitely check those streams out, guys. They're really good. He gave a great example of, like, think of this LP web stuff like having a stone that's attached to all these different balloons, and then like the stone is like, let's say, element, and then the balloon is like the token it's connected to, and the size of the balloon is like the LP. When those or you can say the size of the balloon is like the price of that token. When that token inflates in price, it drags up, it's connected to the stones, so it's going to drag element up. And element's got all these different connections to all these different balloons. If all these balloons like expand because they just start going crazy price discovery mode, then it's going to really, all of these balloons will just drag element up like crazy. So if anyone's been watching what's going on PTGC, I think they should definitely be paying attention to Element. And I'll say this: I actually missed PTGC. Like when it came out, I was like, I didn't understand it back then. I was like, all this LP web tax stuff. I was like, What is all this? And look how that played out, right? So I definitely think when you see tokens doing really well, try and learn from them and find things that are, have similar concepts and similar fundamentals. And Element has very good fundamentals. So yeah, that's yeah,
And
that's
it's
that.
always expanding. Every, like I said, as these new projects come out, we're adding them to the LP manager. We're allowing any of the community members to come in and provide liquidity themselves, tax free, and earn part of these trading fees from these arbitrage bots, supporting themselves. Like if you've got an NFT and you're earning rewards, you're supporting yourself by adding liquidity to these pools, because now there's more trading volume, more taxes being paid, more tokens getting burned, and more tokens going back into your pocket. It's
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
self-fulfilling prophecy going there.
Yeah. Just quickly for the chat, Stacks Alpha, I believe you will get a full stream on that coming
Yeah.
from dudes soon. So Stacks white paper is coming soon. We're also excited about that. If he wants to drop any hints here, I'll be very, very happy. But yeah, so hopefully stay tuned, guys. That should be coming soon from dude. He's gonna do some streams, I believe, soon on that.
Mhm.
And yeah, guys, like the more of these pools that get created with different coins, it just means there's going to be more arbing, more opportunity for bots to arb the pairs, and therefore more, price, more NFT rewards for the NFT holders, more burning of element, more element in the Helios treasury. So that's really exciting. One question I did have with the adding the future LP pairs, um, with is it going to be just a case of adding it to the LP manager and letting people basically just add the LP, or maybe is Genesis going to provide some support there? How does that look when it comes to just a new token coming out and adding it to the pools?
I mean, there's no expectations with Genesis, right? But
Mhm.
what we've seen so far is, yeah, like it is Genesis that is creating these pairs and seeding them. We would like to see the community come in and add to them, um, but like, we can't mint tokens either. This is a cap supply token. It's finite supply. Like it's not like I can just mint more and then create more LPs. So
Mhm.
these tokens have to come from somewhere.
Mhm.
But yeah, I for sure. Like I have not sold a single element token,
Mhm.
no doubt. Like
Yeah.
there's like it's all like just supporting the ecosystem. Yeah, and
Mhm.
we started with 14 and we're already up to like 25, I think. Like you
Crazy.
know
Yeah.
we've added, we're almost double with what we started with, and it's barely even been a few months. Like
Mhm. Mhm.
so.
One thing on the price chart I've noticed is whenever people burn NFTs and then dump the tokens, the dip, because they usually dump through the Titan X pair.
Mhm.
So the dip on the Titan X pair, it does get eaten up.
Yeah.
Like people are entering, and then it may not even be people. It could just be bots.
Yeah.
Because one of the side effects of the bots trading these pairs is they're actually building their LP in the pair as well. So they're going to take their Titan and they're going to buy element tokens on the Titan element pair, and then sure they're going to dump those element tokens on another pair, but they've now added more Titan in that pair, so they're thickening these LPs themselves. Just the bots are going to be thickening these LPs, and yeah, it's really good to see. I mean, congratulations to anyone who bought that dip after mint. The dip on element was insane. Like it was such a nice dip. So congratulations to anyone who bought that dip, man. Because I believe that rebounded very nicely off that dip.
That's an example of irrational market. Like what were they thinking? What are they doing?
Yeah, that's the thing with crypto, man. It goes from like this is the best thing ever to like, oh, things are down a bit now. Oh man, just perma dump.
Yeah.
But when people do that, they make opportunities for other players. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah, that dip got eaten up. Like as soon as things started to go up again, that dip just got absolutely demolished. So
Yeah.
that was
And
really cool to see.
Yeah, I feel like I've still seen quite a bit. It bounces off the 1-to-1 ratio line a lot, I notice, and as soon as it hits that, you see more NFTs getting burned.
Hmm, hmm.
And it's fun to see in the chat. Like it's like almost FUD proof. Like they want FUD in the chat because they want to see people burning their NFTs. They want to
Hmm.
see people exiting the system, and then their share of the pool is going up. Like
Yeah,
I've actually had to tell them, hey, like we do want new users. Like we can't just be like purposely fudding ourselves. But it is funny to see that like it's like basically a FUD proof system.
I know. I feel like what we're gonna see for the time being is possibly the shorter term minded people who had NFTs just slowly exit. I think that's why when you see it hit 1-to-1 with Titan, they see it's 1-to-1, so they just exit the NFT and sell because
Yeah.
they just want to get out and play with whatever they want to play with on Titan X. So I feel like for the time being, there might be a period of just like getting these shorter term minded people out. But eventually, these NFTs are going to just be in diamond hands that are going to hold them. And so that's the way I see what's going on right now. It's just the short term people who, you know, just want to use their Titan X to do whatever they want to do, and that's totally up to them to do. So,
Right.
um, yeah, I will just get to a little example I did. Oh, okay, here we go. So yeah, this is a little example I drew. And it might be wrong, but I hope it's correct. This is just like an example of like a bot that's going to come in and trade these pairs. So imagine here you had Titan X paired with Element, and you had, let's say, Element paired with Dragon X, and let's say the prices between these is different. We're just making up numbers here, so don't take these numbers seriously. Let's say the price difference is more than 8%, so they can make some, the bot that sees this can make some arbitrage money, because you have to minus the taxes. So basically, the bot's going to see this, okay? And when you look at these bot wallets, they're not really holding time. They just hold ETH because that's how they work. So they're
Yeah.
just going to hold ETH in their wallet. They'll scan a blockchain. They'll see there's an arbitrage here, and they're going to put their ETH into this pool. Let's say $1,000. They trade it for Element. Okay, so they're building the Titan X in that pair. They're adding Titan X to that pool, and then they're gonna get their Element tokens. They've made $1. Well done, amazing. But they're happy. They made $1, and then they're gonna sell it here. So they're basically gonna sell that Element into Dragon X. They've made a bit of profit. They're paying their taxes. They sell that to Titan X and then sell to ETH, right? And I think usually this literally just happens in one block. It's just
Yes. Yeah, and that's where they don't even
a
have
one
to
transaction.
care what your token is because they are starting and ending in a single transaction with ETH. And so
Yeah,
they have no concerns what your token is because they're literally buying and selling it in the same transaction.
exactly. Yeah. So just a little visual demonstration here. This is what it's going to look like. So they got a grand. They're going to pay $80 tax. 8%. Is that right? Yeah, 8%. Because there's buy and a sell. So they're going to pay basically 8% tax because of the buy and sell, which will be $80 is the tax they'll pay. And this is how it gets split. So you're going to get $48 in their trade. They make some money and they also pay the NFT holders. So the NFT holders are getting paid to literally just buy the R bots. I mean, people don't even need to be buying this stuff. It's just, even if it's just R bots, the NFT holders are doing stuff. Genesis gets some tokens here, $12. Helios Treasury will get $4 from this, and $16 of Element Burn would happen there. And that's only with one bot just doing a grand. That's it, you know?
Yeah. And
So,
they're probably making they make on average like $1 to $20, I'd say, on a trade.
yeah.
So
But they
like
have,
the ecosystem, the NFT holders are generally making more off of that arbitrage trade than the bot itself.
that's a really good way to look at it, yeah. Because, like, literally, at most you'll see like $20 profit,
Hmm.
but then look at the NFT rewards gets $48. So, Element is profiting off bots. Isn't that so cool? So yeah, that's that. And I did find a transaction on the blockchain. So this is what it looks like. So for anyone wondering, this is basically what it looks like. So if you see here, like when I first heard of this stuff, I thought, oh, it's gonna be like multiple transactions, but no, it literally happens in one transaction. It will be like an aggregated swap. and it just happens in basically one flash like that. So that's why you see when someone like buys or sells element, you'll see instantly bot buys or sells come in, bang, 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 because they just execute the stuff so quickly. So yeah, there's this example here. Is that clear for you? Can you read that, or should I zoom in more?
Zoom in just a little bit more. Yeah, I can probably.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you're seeing them. Uh, let's see. I need to. So there's it's a little bit out of order. You see in the middle they've got 0.043 ETH. Let's just work in dollars, I guess. They got
Yeah, yeah.
$160 in ETH. They buy Titan X, and then with that Titan X, they buy elements at the
Hmm.
top line, and then with that element, they now are trading it for Lotus, and then through Lotus, they're trading it to Volt, and then from Volt, they're selling back to Titan X, and then Titan X back to ETH. And now they've turned $160 worth of ETH into $192 worth of ETH.
Hmm.
Um, and so like there's also the transaction cost. So they made what was it 20 what 92 so $32 in ETH is what they made on those trades, and then subtract what they paid in gas fees. If you scroll down, I guess you probably don't have that on this,
Might not have it on this, yeah, but
but
I just
they,
took. Okay.
let's just assume they paid, $20 in gas fees. Then it's that 32 is actually $12 in profit for them. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, and then if you scroll down, if you look at all the through here, then you see like there's somewhere in there, yeah,
Yeah,
the
I think
one
it's
e
this
nine
line.
seven. That's our contract. That's where
Yeah.
they're putting. So they paid 13 million in Element 280 token taxes that went to, uh, you know, all of the reward pool that gets split up to
Yeah.
burning and rewarding NFT holders.
Yeah. I think that's so cool to see. I think it's really good to see like the actual transactions and see in real time. Like if you see our bots on Deck Screener come in, you can check the transaction on Etherscan and you can just see, oh look, they paid some tax, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's getting added. That's just constantly building up in that tax in that NFT rewards. I can't see the burning on here, but I believe it obviously it is going to be there. So
So to save on gas fees, because every token transfer costs gas. And if
mm,
we did the burn on every transaction, that's additional gas costs. So what we did instead is we send everything to that 1E97 contract. And then once a week, when the cycle, distributes rewards to NFT holders, then we just do one single batch burn of everything that's accumulated. So like when we have our weekly distribution, that's when the Helios Treasury gets theirs, the NFT holders get theirs, Genesis gets theirs, and then we batch burn all of the additional element tokens. So it all happens just in one transaction once a week, instead of like adding those transactions on every single one. That's just going to cut into the arbitrage bots ROI, because now they're paying higher gas fees on all their buy sells, and so then they're going to have to need a higher discrepancy of price to make their ROI. So we try to make the gas fees more efficient so that they're able to come in and make more trades and pay more tax on their end. And then we just
cool.
pay one transaction fee once a week. And yeah,
Oh,
so.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, you'll see. So if you are looking transactions, look for this contract address here. This 1E97. That's
Mhm.
the NFT holder vault. And you can
Yeah,
see the yeah, you can see the rewards being sent there, and then that will be split up however it's split between all the other taxes. So yeah, man, that's cool. So yeah, that was the example. I'm really glad we went through that because I think it's good for people to see like visually how it is. And then
yeah,
I've got like a little bit of kind of examples here. So I like to run through like little examples because it gives people something to see. and that's cool. So basically, what this is if we get an average trading volume per day of 130k, which we were doing actually by the time I made this, things have taken a bit of a dip now, but you know these things are in the game, so you know. But if we were doing like 130k a day of volume across all the pairs, then it gets split like this. So that would be in total $5,200 tax on this, and then that gets split up like this. So for people to see, NFT guy is going to get $3,120 for that day added to the LP, added to their NFT rewards in total, and then your share of that is obviously what you get of that. And then Genesis gets this much dollars. That's just in dollars, but obviously they'll get element tokens. And Helios Treasury, this is what I'm saying, guys. Keep an eye on this Helios Treasury slash investment pool because it's building up every day, and people. I feel like no one's been looking at this, but like if you look at it, you're like, oh my god, that's crazy because it builds up over time. And then the element burn is just doing a grand here on the burn, which does address one of the questions, which we'll probably get to later when people talk about the buy and burns and stuff. You don't need to worry too much about the buy and burns. This system is got an intrinsic burn per transfer sell swap. So don't worry too much about the buy and burns. They've played an amazing role. They've built those LPs. They've boosted the system, but don't worry about it. The biggest point is the taxation, and that it has an inbuilt burn on there. And then it also has this little juicy Helios treasury, which is going to do good stuff. So don't worry too much about that. So yeah, that was one example. I've done a little moon math, a little bit of moon math. Wait, if we get, oh wait, this shouldn't be 1 million. This should be 130k a day. But I believe if we get 130k a day over a month, then this is what it looks like on the taxation. So the total tax paid will be 156,000. The amount of element burned is 31 grand. So that's just buys and sells and transfers is gonna just naturally burn 31,000 if we have that type of volume. Okay, no expectations, but you know if we have that type of volume, that's 30 grand. The NFT rewards here is gonna be 93,600. That's pretty nice. I remember when everyone looks at you know the Titan X rewards at the start. You know this is just intrinsically built into the system. This doesn't need anyone adding like additional minting or mining or anything. This is just bots trading, and they're going to be generating these really nice rewards. Genesis 20,400 and Helios Treasury 7,800, and that's only on 130k. So if we exceed that, which I believe we will, not financial advice, but I believe we will exceed that, then yeah, that's really cool. Cool. So let's just look at the next one. So I did an average one. Do you want to say anything?
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to point out that like Baby Dragon X is part of Genesis. There's three founders, and Baby Dragon X is one of them. So like a third of the Genesis funds is supporting Baby Dragon X as well. So there's lots of you would call us benevolent wells, but yeah, it's cool to see that like Baby Dragon X is benefiting from this as well. And they're doing lots to support E280. Like they, when they launched Scale, they created a Scale E280 pair as well. They're about to launch a buy and burn that is in Element 280 tokens. I guess my point is like it's not just me; it's multiple founders that are here to support this ecosystem, and Baby Dragon X is no exception. Like they've already shown that they're supporting themselves by building out and adding more value to the Element 280 ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's really cool. And that's like what I was saying before is a lot of attention is obviously on the element burn and the NFT awards, but these two down here with Helios Treasury and Genesis, I know we can't have expectations, but keep an eye out, like see what's going on with how they're using tokens, because that's like it's just the extra cherry on top, so yeah, keep an eye on. That's cool. I actually didn't know that about Baby Dragon, that they have a share in that, so that's really cool.
yeah.
Let's go to the next one. So that was on average volume. If we do like what I said, good trading volume here, which would be cool to see, would be like 500k. So if we did 500k, then that's the tax that it's gonna pay just in one day, 20 grand tax, and that gets split like this. So obviously you guys know what this is by now, but yeah, 12 grand to NFT rewards, 3 grand to Genesis. Helios Treasury is gonna grow by 1,000. So if that happens a day, that's like 1,000 a day. That's really cool. And Element Burn, 4 grand. So $4,000 of Element Burn just on one day, just because of bots trading. Like, and this is not taking into account extra buy and burn with V1, with V2. Like these there's more burning in the system, right? This is just one burn. This is one burner. But this is intrinsic. This is intrinsic to the system, which is really
Yeah,
cool.
you could call this like the V0 burn. Like this
Yeah,
is like built into the protocol, never runs dry, like is always there, always burning tokens. And then you have the V1, which is limited supply, that was funded only from minting. So that will eventually stop. But then we have now V2 buy and burn that's funded from Element 369, which we can go into depth on part 2 of the series. Yeah, and then Stacks. Stacks is gonna put a ton of volume through Element 280 as well. Like I'm very excited about what that's gonna do. Like
man.
Element 280 has got so much going for it. Like so fast. Like we're not even 2 months in on this protocol. Like we're less than 2 months old. So lots
man.
going
When yeah, man, Stacks. I'm just waiting for that white paper and that stream to come on, because man, these diagrams, I'm gonna be building them.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
I think we're gonna release the white paper on Friday.
Friday, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's another element. It's another element. Oh, that's a nice saying. It's another element to the system, right? It's gonna benefit E280. So
the Stacks LP will be Stacks Element 280. So like the main / only pair will be Element 280. So think about anybody going in and out of the Stacks token, they have to route through the Element 280 token. So I think it's gonna generate a ton of additional volume for Element 280.
Wow, man, I'm gonna be anxiously waiting for that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, on the breakdown of the month, this is what it would look like over a month if we sustained that volume. So with 500k volume a day, it would look like this. So the total tax would be 600 grand. Element burned 120 grand of element burned like in a month. That's ridiculous. And then NFT rewards 360k. So that is when it starts to get really juicy. Like that's when I can see some people wanting to build up their, this is when we start hitting this type of volume. This is what I was saying earlier about people trading on OpenSea. I can see some bigger players wanting to come in and buy up these NFTs that they find on there. And then the moment people start seeing, especially smaller holders who might not have a big bag in the NFT pool, when they start seeing that I can sell on OpenSea for a premium than I put in, they might just put it on because they win. They make a premium. These bigger whales come in because they're like, damn, I want some of this. And yeah, so that's going to be so cool to see. I can't wait to see that. Yeah.
Same.
So
we're seeing so much burning right now. It's crazy. Like but that's by design. Like you have people that decide, you know what, they're happy with what they got and they exit and they move on to something else. And now everybody else that's diamond handing, their share of the pool is going up. Like they're, by doing nothing but just holding an NFT, they're earning more rewards. And it's the easy button. Titan X easy button right there.
Easy. Yeah, that's it, man. We just hit 288 viewers. That's so cool to see. 288. Let's go.
Nice.
Got that 88, got the 28. I'm gonna say that, and then someone's gonna leave. But yeah, that's so cool. Like this is insane. When we start hitting this volume, wow, the FOMO, I believe, will start to kick in on Element. Especially those NFT rewards. People will want in on that pool. I can see this attracting like bigger players, and they're going to want to buy up whatever goes on OpenSea, and then you might see ridiculously overpriced NFTs to what you think, to what they put in, but they get bought up because if a big player wants in, they want in. You know.
Yeah.
Cool. I got one more. I think I got one more. I got the moon math. Great volume here. Let's go. Come on. $1 million. Trading volume per day. This would be ridiculous. This would be amazing to see. This is what we want to see. This is the moon math here. This is for the guys here who want that moon math. This is it here, right? So 40 grand tax. It's basically double everything you just saw. Everything you just saw was 500K. This is double that. So yeah, 440 grand of tax will be paid on that single day. And with the NFT rewards, they're gonna get 24 grand in a single day. Is gonna get added to that NFT pool, like crazy. Genesis is gonna grow with a nice 6,000. Helios Treasury 2 grand. So again, this is so underrated. I keep saying it, but and then you got the element burn 8 grand. 8 grand of element will just be burnt in a single day because of high volume. And who knows? We saw recently with that, pump we had. Well, it's been volatile recently, right? It's been down, but then it went up nicely. Titan X price. When we went up nicely, I think we did 300K, and that wasn't even a massive pump if you think about it. Like, this is crypto. We did 300K volume in a single day, and I think we held that for a few days. I know this is moon math here, but if things start to really moon, what can we see? No expectations, but what could we see? We could see some craziness here. So yeah, that's that. And then the monthly breakdown on that would look like this. So yeah, so 1.2 million would be paid in tax if we sustained a million for a whole month. 240 grand's worth of element burnt. At the current market cap, guys, that's a significant amount. That's a really significant amount. I think we're at maybe 1.3 million. It's been in that kind of range.
Yeah.
This is really significant numbers here. And again, NFT reward 720K. If we do hit these types of volumes, I believe those NFTs are going to be looking insane, especially on the open sea. I'm really excited for that. Genesis gets a nice tasty amount. Helios Treasury gets a nice tasty amount. Yeah, it's moon math. I get it. Some people might be like, "Oh, that's just moon math," but you got to dream a bit. You know what I mean? You got to dream a bit. So, but this is I know I said moon math, but this could be theoretical, like feasible. I mean, we've seen UFO do ridiculous volume recently, PTTC do ridiculous volume, and we did really good volume on just a small pump. So, what happens when we get bigger pumps? We get more LP set up, thicker LP. This is gonna start getting ridiculous.
It's really like, how bullish are you on Titan X? How bullish are you on the build on Titan X protocols? Like, this is built on top of all of those. So if Titan X does a 2x, everything in the ecosystem does a 2x. E280 does a 2x. In token price, in liquidity, everything doubles. Now, if Titan X does a 2x and then, build on Titan X protocols do a 2x, that's a 4x for Element 280. And 4x on all of the liquidity pools, the rewards, the trading volume. Like, it's really like, it's dependent on the Titan X ecosystem. How well does it do? And I'm bullish on Titan X, no doubt. So like, I think that's what the secret sauce is here, is like, we're not hoping for any other random tokens to pump and go up and down. We're in the Titan X boat, just riding that tide up and down. And hyperdeflation is here, man. Like, it's
wow. Yeah, what's your thoughts on the stats we've got right now with the burning on Titan?
It's amazing. It's amazing. And Jake put it perfectly I think it was the last weekly space, where it's like, price is a lagging indicator. Looking at the leading indicators, like, everything looks amazing. And price will follow. That'll come down the line automatically. It's all the leading indicators that we're looking at, and I love it. and
Mhm.
it's easier for me to be a little even more bullish because it's like, yeah, I'm stacks. I see the value in stacks. I see the value in omni-chain, you know, with X28, with H420, like with there's so much more coming down the road. And like I can't even fathom like once we start hitting other chains, like what, you know, when X28 hits Binance, how many people that are like don't ever touch Ethereum, how many people are going to be interested to build on X28 now that it hits Binance and Base Chain and Solana, Arbitrum, all these, you know, when it starts hitting these other chains, now we're bringing in so many more users, builders that all want to integrate this token. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I gave this example with when I was on stream with Callum, but like with the Titan X ecosystem right now, I feel like, you know, we're kind of like the Roman Empire. Like we've built our little city here, and now we're just gonna start, you know, mass conquest of crypto, and we're just gonna dominate other chains. You know, I think that's really the dream for Tinex. What we want to see is Tinex dominating on various other chains. So that's gonna be so insane to watch. And I believe all the builders now they're focusing on X28 and things like that. So I'm excited. I'm so excited for where we are. I'm not like stressed about price right now. I think what you said about the lagging indicators is such a good example that Jake gave. I like how Jake gives these like examples from like the business world that people
yeah,
may not have heard of in here. He'll bring these like new concepts in, which like, you know, kind of shift your perspective. It's a really good way to put it, you know. There's lagging
yeah,
indicators, there's leading indicators, and you know, price is just it's just gonna lag. It's always gonna be a lagging one. So and if you're investing, you wanna really start learning what's those indicators, right? Like what are we looking at? A good investment decision. Um, like that element burn, the amount of burn we've had on element, the supply has gone down so much. Um, from mint phase. I think it was like 2.7 trillion total, and now it's down to like 2.15 or something.
You know what? I've been slacking on me tracking these numbers, to be
Yeah.
honest. I know things are burning. I know like NFTs are burning. The supply of the NFTs is deflating. The supply of the tokens deflating. Like it's all doing as intended. And like I'm, you know, this is a long term thing for me, and like I it's no doubt in my mind gonna do well. And it's just let it do its thing. Like I'll come check back in 6 months, and then we'll really see like where we're at.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
like right now, I've got things to build.
Dude is busy, guys. Dude is busy,
Yeah,
man. He's a
yeah.
busy man. Um, cool. I feel like that's the main bulk of what we're gonna go through today. That's
Mhm,
basically element 280. So look, guys, we went through all of this. Look at this. This is what we went through today. Quite a lot of stuff.
mhm.
It was a really good amount of stuff we went through. So I'm really glad we did that. I did post when I posted the link for the stream yesterday or earlier today because it was like at midnight. Um, I did say if anyone has questions, then leave them there. I do believe we've got one question. It's kind of been addressed. It's been addressed already. So I'm just gonna wait. Let me just stop sharing my screen. I'm just gonna read it out. It's already kind of been addressed, but just for the sake of you know having a little question at the end. The question was from X. This came through. So how would Element 280 sustain future deflation once V1 runs out? I think it's less than 200k in value currently. The Element 369 is not adding much to V2, and Shogun Element LP also is not much. That's the question
Yeah.
I got
So
from X.
yeah. Just to kind of recap, you know, I would consider the buy sell tax that is the V0. Like that will never stop and only increase as more over time. You know, more transactions come through. These LPs will increase, and that is like you know, I don't want to say guaranteed because nothing in life's guaranteed, but um, just arbitrage bots are always going to be there. They're always going to want to be equalizing the prices, and as long as a single build on Titan X protocol goes up or down in value, there's going to be a price discrepancy, and an arbitrage bot's going to take that, and they're going to pay the tax. They're going to burn tokens. They're going to put tokens in the NFT holders' hands.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, the V1, this project is not dependent on any buy and burn. It has it built into the system.
Mhm.
And then referencing the V2 buy and burn, like 369 is like a week old. Like you
Yeah.
can't, if you're gonna be like it's not doing anything, that's it's like the meme where like the guy is poking with a stick. He's like, do something. And you're like,
Mhm.
come
Mhm.
on, man, like give it some time. Like
Yeah. I think
we,
people need that patience.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like we can, dive deeper into Element 369, in the next series for sure.
Yeah.
But like my response is I think it's doing exactly as it's intended, and it's really dependent on the Flux protocol at this point, and like it'll be interesting to see, when Phoenix comes out or if Inferno does even better. Like there's tons of factors that will influence Flux itself, and if any of those factors do come to fruition, like Element 369 is going to do very well. It's going to be positioned very well in it. And, Flux is going to run for years and years and years. Like, we're a week in, like, chill. Like, this is going to be the V2 bind burn is going to be fed through this. And even if it is a trickle, we're talking about a trickle for a long, long time. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't think it's always going to be a trickle. I really do think Flux is going to do well. As a matter of fact, we're going to put together another stream, showcasing Flux and all of the protocols that interact with it and support it. Because there's quite a bit going on with it, and we're just getting started. Um,
Yeah. No, I agree. I think people need to give a bit of patience to V2 and E369. Like
mhm.
it's literally just launched, and the V2 buy and burn is dependent on the Flux payouts.
Yeah.
So you have to let them roll out as well. Like let those payouts roll out.
Yeah,
It'll
we've
so
only got like an 8 day. We've had 2 8 day payouts, but
yeah.
um, we're still excuse me, we're still like haven't hit any of the 28, the 88 days. Like there's the 777 reward. Like there's lots of pools that like we will be, lots of rewards that we're going to be getting off of this down
Mhm.
the line. So no worries on that.
Yeah.
And I think the HLX DAO has some and another strategy as well to help boost that I think we're looking into doing. That'll be fun. That we might
Okay.
start discussing soon. So,
Yeah.
and then
Okay. Very
again, and
nice.
then stacks coming in after this. No doubt, the main LP will be E280 stacks. Like,
Mhm.
there's gonna be volume on that. Like, I'm
Mhm.
excited about that. And it's just another pair that's going to be allow for price discrepancies and allow for more arbitrage plays and lots of things. So
Yeah. Yeah,
zoom
what I
out.
love about zoom out the chart, guys. What I love
Yeah.
about like E369 is it's just gonna be basically just needs to be left to run and carry on doing its thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if especially as Flux starts to run, people start seeing, oh, I can get some nice payouts on an NFT, and then they enter NFTs. Like things just have to roll over. Like you just have to let things roll over. I will not be surprised if we get a massive influx of E369 NFTs being minted once Flux really starts to run, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, and I
So
think once we get closer to some of the bigger payouts, I think we're going to see a lot of FOMO mentors as well. Because like right now, I think people are like, they're like, oh, minting's open for like another month. Like I got time, and people
mhm,
are not rushing in to mint. So uh, yeah, it's doing exactly what we expected it to do, and there's a big compounding feature that we haven't seen yet because that compounding it needs to do its thing. It needs to compound. It needs to snowball this into something larger. And um, even if nobody else came into the protocol and it just stayed exactly as it is, like it's the people that are in it now, like they're gonna see um,
yeah.
it perform. Yeah.
Yeah, like no expectations, but like, you know, with it kind of, you know, not to say it's going to be like this, but with Titan, when Titan launched, it was quite slow at the start. Like the first month was slow, and then it just went absolutely nuts after month one, especially once
Mhm.
people started to compound and things. So just let the protocols play out. Give them time to breathe. You know, we're in this short attention span economy where we're
Yeah.
scrolling on TikTok for 10 seconds, right, per video.
Yeah.
So let things play out, guys. You know, go outside, get some fresh air, go for a walk.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just let things play out. That's what I would say to that as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
And like you said, we've got a V0 buy and burn inbuilt. So to address that question, we got the V0 buy and burn, which is intrinsic to the system. It doesn't require, you know, obviously as long as it's arb volume and stuff, it's always going to be there.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I
I,
think that yeah, continue.
I saw a question in the chat. If ULP, how do you see it in action? Is there a special site that shows you this? Yeah, you just go to Uniswap and you can usually Uniswap. If Uniswap's not seeing your position, then there's a import LP button on Uniswap, and you can then view your position there. And yeah, like we have our LP manager. The whole purpose of the LP manager is for you to enter and exit your LP positions without getting taxed. So if you go to Uniswap and add to an LP, Uniswap's going to tax you because it's not whitelisted. But we've whitelisted our LP manager contract so that you can go in and out without getting taxed. But while you have an LP position, you go to our website, you go to the LP manager, you add your favorite token with E280. And then once it's created, then you go to the Uniswap website, which we have a link towards the top of the page, I believe. Yeah, on the notice, it says you can view your LP position on the Uniswap. Click the link, it'll take you to it. And then from there, you can view it. And then if you,
Yeah,
whenever you want to exit, you just come back to our website and exit your position there. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah. If you want, I can actually show people just quickly. Do. Yeah. So yeah, this is the LP manager,
there we go.
and yeah, this is the notice at the top. So yeah, this is exactly what we're saying here. You can go to the Uniswap website and check out your position there. But yeah, you have your LP set up in the LP manager, and like dude said, the reason for this is so you don't get taxed adding LP, basically.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so it's just a way. It's the LP manager is a good way to allow people to build the LPs themselves. And you did do an in-depth stream on this, so if anyone wants to check it out,
Yes.
he did a stream with the Titans of LP guys. So they went in depth on this stuff. So I would recommend if you're interested in this stuff, go and check out that stream. They cover basically all these points. All these points are covered in
Yes,
there.
and they're super helpful. Like, go into their Telegram chat and like they can help you out. Because I saw somebody else ask, like, well, what token looks good to LP? Like that's I can't answer that. Everyone's got different motives and different. You've got your own projections on how well certain tokens are going to do, and like these are great questions that you could provide to the Titans of
Mhm.
LP guys. Like they can
Yeah,
help steer you in the right direction that you're trying to go to.
yeah, those guys are very active. Like if you go on their Telegram, their Titans of LP Telegram, it's a very active Telegram, and they're always helping out. So yeah, go in there, ask questions. They're like the main guys for LP stuff, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of educating people and stuff. So definitely check that out. And like you said, like with adding pairs, I believe at one point the Element Dragon pair actually had more LP. It's
Yeah.
really interesting to see. It had like a thicker LP than the Titan pair. I believe Titan is now leading the way in terms of the pool. Um, but yeah, that's so
Yeah.
cool to see.
Yeah. And I think my thought on that was like there's a lot of Dragon X fans with Element 280 fans. I think that was my guess. Is there's a lot of people like with Dragon X. It's like that's
You can have
You
a look.
know,
Yeah, I think it
it can be
is.
another store of value, you know. So I think they're pairing these two store of value tokens and putting them on there.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can like sort by liquidity.
you can kind of see here like 91 grand in the Element Dragon LP right now.
Mhm.
Um, you know, that's juicy. Like at these prices as well, and 150k in the Titan LP. So Titan LP right now is leading it. And then you've got all these other LPs, and there's more getting added. I've not updated this, so I'm sure there's more that have been added to this that I've not added to this watch list yet. So keep an eye on that. Awesome X as well with 13k, 22k. Like these are at like low prices as well. Like when everything starts to pick up, these LPs are gonna start looking very nice. So yeah,
No
just
doubt, no doubt. It's just we're in position, and like I said, now we're letting it. This is up to Titanx itself and all of these other build on Titanx protocols to do what they intend on doing. And as Element 280, I would say we are bullish on Titanx and the build on Titanx ecosystem. Like that's why we built this. And this web of LPs, by holding the Element token, now you're absorbing the price appreciation, the volatility of every single one of these other tokens. So just by holding Element 280, the value, the USD value of it is going up and down as an average of all of these other protocols going up and down.
yeah.
So
That's why like I don't get the FUD on E280s. Like if you're fudding E280, like E280 is a play on the whole system.
yeah,
So it's like fudding E280 is like dude does not believe in Tinex. You know what I mean? So definitely guys, like this is a play on the whole Tinex ecosystem. So you gotta like let the ecosystem play out. Let all these tokens, they all have their own games. You got Morpheus has been doing insane things recently. Like let all of these protocols play out and just Element is going to benefit from all of them.
yeah. So, and this last comment. So the plan is to just hope Titan X moves and carry the other projects. No, no. Like these build on Titan X protocols, they are what's driving demand for Titan X. They are adding value to the ecosystem, and they are burning, locking, staking Titan X in the process. So they are the one. It's the build on Titan X protocols are what is adding value and supporting Titan X itself. And then when they do that, Titan X gets supported, it goes up in value, and then everybody else in the ecosystem feels that, you know. So if Helios comes in and does something amazing and helps support Titan X goes up with the bond of liquidity. Everybody, Dragon X goes up, and Alien X, and all these other protocols, they all go up as well. So it's not just hoping Titan X does well. Like that's what the build on Titan X is doing. Like we're adding value to Titan X, and then as we do that, we indirectly support everybody else in the ecosystem.
It's a boat, guys. It's not just a bot.
Yes.
It's a boat. That's what dude says. It's a build on all Tinex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no doubt. Like it's not like we're just hoping and praying. Like this is all a strategy. This is a system that Titan X that Jake has created, and like we're following this system, and it's working beautifully.
Hmm.
If you just look at the chart, then you're not seeing the picture. You know, like you need to get a premium Titan X Hub account and go look at some of those stats. That's where I get crazy bullish. Like when I get on there and I scroll through stuff and I'm like this is amazing. This is so damn amazing. Like that's what gets me bullish. And that
Yeah.
those are the leading indicators, you know, like that's what I'm looking at is the adoption and all the burning, the supplies, like not just in Titan X, but all the build on Titan X protocols as well. Yeah, and I'm not worried about price. Like that'll come. That'll come,
That's
no
yeah,
doubt.
exactly. Of course. That's yeah. And like I mentioned earlier, like if you want to make good investment choices, you have to look at those leading indicators. And that's
Mhm.
why you need that premium Tinex premium hub premium is such the value of that can't be overstated. Being able to see all of that stats,
Yeah.
it's so good. And when you like dude said, like you open it up, you scroll through, like you just get more bullish, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everyone definitely go head over to Mike Dean and make sure you get that, because that is, yeah, you can't you can't understate the value, you can't overstate the value of it. It's just, it's insane.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, I think we've gone for a very nice amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for dude. He's given us a lot of detailed explanations. He's gone through the whole thing with me, which is, I'm very grateful. And it's been a great stream. I'm really grateful for this. We've covered a lot today, and this is only going to be part one. We're going to do another one on E369. It's going to be the exact same type of format. So now you guys have watched this, you know the format we're going to run through, with like looking through things on a diagram. And when Stacks comes out, I'm sure we'll do one for Stacks as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And
Yeah.
yeah, we'll wrap things up. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you, dude. Take care,
Thank you.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah. Have a good one.
you too, man.